We got to air it out. Let's air it out. So we got to air it out. Let's air it out. So
how you say that? Air it out? Air it out?
Air it out.
What's going on, guys? This is the Air It Out Pro Football Podcast. As you guys already know, I'm your host, Jerome Jones. I got my guy, Avery Collins, over there. What's going on, Avery?
Yo, what up? How y'all doing? Everybody good? Football back here?
Yes, sir. Football is back. And speaking of things that are back, we got our guy, the most trusted guy, one of our favorite people here, Mr. Juan Green Camargo. How are you doing, sir?
What is going on? It's good to be back into the AIO space with y'all. I missed you guys so much.
The only one. Juan is back in the building.
The only one.
Juan and only.
Juan with the new hairstyle, the new look, man. He doing it different over there in Wisconsin, man. How you been over there?
Bro, it's been one heck of an adventure out in Wisconsin so far. The biggest highlight obviously has to be the Bucs playoff run into the postseason. I mean, being able to help cover a championship run with a team that no one expected to happen, and then kind of dyeing my hair like Buck Green. It was Buck Green to start. Now it's like a Miami Dolphins aqua now. Doesn't mean I'm a Dolphins fan ever. I'm a Jets fan through and through. But just like it's been one heck of an experience, man. It's truly been a blessing out here.
That's definitely great, man. It's good to hear that you're doing well out there. I mean, we do miss you, like you said. But you know what else we miss? We miss football, man. It is time. It's time. We got some football coming on tonight. We got some football on Friday. We got some football on Saturday. Then we got football on Sunday too. So we got some good stuff going on. But let's talk about some news that has been going on in the NFL. And this one is huge because this man deserved everything that he got. Mr. Josh Allen getting paid. Mr. Josh Allen got paid this Monday, I believe. My man got a 6-year extension for $258 million. 158 of that is guaranteed. I want to know what you guys think of the contract. Did he deserve that? And what you think about the whole thing? I'm gonna start with you, Avery.
150 guaranteed. Man. I will say this. I was a fan of Josh Allen coming out. I'm on record as stating that class had a ton of quarterbacks. I didn't think that any of the quarterbacks in that class would be quote unquote busts. The only one that we can consider right now, I guess you can consider, is the other Josh.
Rosen.
Josh Rosen, thank you. But I don't think he was given a fair shake. I've said that before on this podcast. I mean, you give the guy 1 year and then ship him out. I mean, so I believe he's still in Tampa, learning behind Tom Brady. So if that's the case, he still has a chance to not be considered again a bust. I think the same thing for and this is for first round quarterbacks. Mason Rudolph was also in that draft, but again, second or third rounder. So he's not really, I don't really care too much there. But I believed in Josh Allen from the jump. I believe that the biggest thing that he needed to work on was his mechanics. And we saw him take the jump last year. His mechanics got so much better. And because his mechanics got so much better, it improved his touch. It improved his playmaking ability. And it obviously his IQ improved, his reads. And then you gave him, one of the top 5 receiving weapons in the NFL and Stephon Diggs. And the sky's the limit. So I'm appreciative that the Bills, one, are just back in football prime time, right? Like they're a great team. Their fan base is phenomenal. And so I'm just appreciative that they're playing well, but I'm also appreciative that they got somebody that they can look to the future for. So congrats to Josh Allen in the Bills.
Yeah, for the most part of the season, they were he was in the MVP race almost all last season, and like you said, he improved
He
his
finished second.
yeah.
I believe he finished second in voting.
And MVP voting? Yeah, no, he did.
Yep.
He did. Yeah.
He was and behind Aaron Rodgers, of course, but Juan.
That's it.
But as you guys know, like Avery said, he improved his mechanics. He had a lot of accuracy issues coming out of college. He really straightened out a lot of those. They gave him a #1 receiver. Not only that, but he did spread the ball around a lot better last year as well. Juan, what do you think about the whole situation? I'll allow Avery to have his last speed right after that.
So for a non-contract knowing football fans, just so you know, it's a 6-year, $258 million contract with $288 million in incentives on this contract alone. So this guy can make almost $300 million if he hits peak for the next 6 years. But total guarantees right now, it's about $150 million. So he's missing another $100 million off that contract, just off incentives and on meeting percentages. What's up, Chris Thomas? How you doing? Love you, man. Wish you were on here. But I will say this. I remember last week when I was watching the show, I had commented who was the Giannis Antetokounmpo of the NFL. And to me, I have to say, I believe Josh Allen is the Giannis Antetokounmpo of the NFL. So let's think about it here for a second. All right. In a draft class that was filled with heavy prospects like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen at the time, a lot of people had Josh Allen rated near the bottom of that class. He was talented, physically had a rocket for an arm, but lacked any sort of mechanical sense in terms of accuracy and footwork. Gets into a situation in Buffalo that's perfectly ideal for him, just like Giannis kind of got into Milwaukee, although he was there a little bit longer and went through multiple coaching staffs. At least Allen had a little bit of consistency. And then over time, like Giannis, started building himself into a better version of a football player. And now hit the big contract, just like Giannis got the Supermax, and he has a partner in crime in Stephon Diggs to get him into a much better position to win a chip this year, just like with Chris Middleton here in Milwaukee. So that's what I want to say about it. I believe that, Josh Allen is the inspiration for anyone who thinks that when they come into the NFL, they have to perform great immediately. That is not 100% the case. This man literally was a turnover machine his rookie year, improved somewhat going into his sophomore year, and then third year was a borderline MVP. Hell, if Dak Prescott had not gotten injured, I would dang say that, of course, I'm going to put the plugs in, Chris. I got to do that. It's where I am right now. And plus, we got the chip. Y'all in Philly couldn't even make it past. Just saying. Anyway, yeah, I'm on that NBA heat now, man. You can't take me down. I wasn't an NBA fan until I got to the city, and now I officially am. So anyway, with Josh, the point I made with Josh is this guy is inspiration for a lot of NFL QBs who come into the league with just pure talent, but not a lot of refined skill. He refined himself. If Dak Prescott hadn't gotten injured, Josh Allen would be third in MVP voting, because I would have guaranteed Dak Prescott would have been the MVP last year if he kept on pace. So congrats to Josh Allen, and I think the Bills are going to be a force to reckon with for years to come.
I just want to a couple of things. One, with Josh Allen, the other thing that I enjoy about his progression was his first 2 years, his defense made an extreme difference. He had a phenomenal defense and a pretty decent running game. In his third year, the defense was not as good. Neither was the running game, but he excelled and got that team to an AFC championship. So it's to me, that shows just how much of a progression that he did or had, going into his third year, because like I said, the defense had fallen off and the running game had fallen off a little bit. So that is a prime example of somebody progressing. But Tawan's comparison to Giannis, I appreciate it. However, I think I might have another candidate, and I would say probably Lamar Jackson. Here's why. The reason I say Lamar is because Giannis is looked at as a one-trick pony, right? His skill set out overall is pretty small in the terms of NBA standard, right? He's not a great shooter. He's, not a great dribbler, ball handler, different things like that. But he can slash and get to the rim. Lamar, he's not considered a great passer. He's not considered very accurate, but he's an extreme athlete. He can run for days. And then you were talking about Chris Middleton, and I'm like, Stephon Diggs is the top 5 receiver in the league. Chris Middleton's not a top 5 at his position in the league. So for me, and I look at it as Giannis has a supporting cast that isn't all-star, superstar level, just like Lamar. He didn't have anybody around him as far as his receivers that were all-star, superstar level. And if they were to get over the hump, the Ravens, for example, that would be phenomenal. Then you take in his rivalry with the Chiefs, right? You look at how he hasn't beaten the Chiefs yet. Giannis, for some reason, can't beat LeBron. He can't do it. So it's like you look at those different things, and I would make the comparison maybe more to Lamar. But I appreciate the Josh Allen one. That's a really good one too. I agree, Chris. Yeah,
I have to agree with that. Are we still doing hot takes? I got plenty stored up in here, bro. I got plenty stored up in here.
I mean, technically, it's Thursday football. We're back, so we could bring the hot takes back.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Hot take Thursday. We back with one first day back. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And I'm already causing trouble. Also, Chris, just to call you out, I cannot wait to see when y'all trade Ben Simmons for pennies. Just say.
I think every Philly fan would be okay with that. I don't think they even.
Yeah.
I don't think they care anymore. They're like, give us 2 fruit roll-ups, a Capri Sun.
They ask for cheesesteak they can get down the street just for Ben. So.
Yeah, man. I don't think they care too much.
Yeah. That's
no
whole thing. All right, let's get to our next subject, guys. There's been some drama in the last couple of days with Michael Thomas. Apparently, he has a injury, I believe a foot or a knee injury that should be keep him out. That should keep him out most of 2021. We'll see how that works. He could come back, but there have been some trade rumors with Michael Thomas lately, with him possibly wanting out of New Orleans with some cryptic tweets and things like that. Do you think he could or should be traded out of New Orleans? And if so, do you think this can be patched? Because that's one of the things that they're trying to do right now. You think this the whole situation right now can be patched? I mean, he haven't played in a while as well. He kind of was already given some trouble there before he even got injured the first time. So I want to know what you guys think. I'm sorry for you with this one, Avery. What do you think about this whole Michael Thomas situation?
I think it depends. I believe that. So I believe the Saints are 50-50, right? I believe that the Saints feel as though Dame to Miami. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? Heat Nation, stop playing. Anyway, I think that I think that the like I said, I believe that they're 50-50. Here's why. I believe that from a production standpoint, they look at their roster and say he's the most productive receiver on our roster when healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, when he's on the field, he changes the perception of the offense for defenses. Defenses look at him as a top tier wide receiver in the league. I still don't think he's top 5, but that's beside the point. With that being said, he can change the game in that regard, and the Saints understand that. They know that. But then I think on the flip side, they're like, well, one, you're not an extremely explosive receiver. 2, the relationship is kind of rocky. 3, the last 2 years you haven't been on the. Well, now it'll be going on the second year. You won't be on the field for potentially majority of the season, and then you going to outside doctors shows that you may not trust us and different things like that. So I think they may say, okay, well, let's move on from this guy. He's still young. He still has some trade value. There are plenty of teams that probably would take and consider giving up some, a pretty substantial amount of, whatever, a collateral for him. So and because there's a new regime, Drew Brees is now retired. You're bringing in Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill to be your starter and different things like that. If he's going to leave anyway, let's get a receiver in that you can build chemistry with in that regard. But at the end of the day, for Michael Thomas, like I said, I don't think he's the top 5 receiver. I think that he's going to be productive wherever he goes. But at the end of the day, I'm not really. I don't like the attitude. Again, for me, it's like you didn't play last year, and then you're injured this year. Different things like that. You're getting a second opinion, and I understand all of that. I understand if you feel like the team doctors didn't do right by you, you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to make sure that your health is your number one priority. I completely understand that and salute and respect him for that. But he's also been a very Kevin Durant-esque player when it comes to the whining and stuff like that. I'm good off of. It's just like, stop crying. But that's.
I would say more of a Kyrie, but that's neither here nor there.
I would say I get the Kyrie. The reason I say KD is because Kyrie isn't as vocal. Kyrie just does stuff that you're like, Kyrie, really? KD says stuff that you're like, KD, shut up. Somebody take his phone. Take his phone.
I will say this, like with Michael Thomas, first off, who delays their surgery until a month before the season starts? The Saints expected Thomas to get the surgery on his foot right when the offseason was about to start, so he would have enough time to come in. But it looks like he went the petty route and decided to wait a month before so that he wouldn't have to play in the first few games of the season.
Kevin Durant.
Now, and here's the other thing. Like, Michael Thomas, it can't be said that man didn't try his best to come back when they needed him most. This was the last time that Drew Brees was going to set foot on the field for a Super Bowl run. And the fact of the matter is that when he tried to help with it, he was too injured to play, but he got out there anyways on the behest of Sean Payton. And Sean Payton, I saw this report on Vice that came out some time ago that Sean Payton is known to be the kind of coach that disregards injury, no matter how severe it is, to try to push his players into playing when they're injured. A former cornerback whose name is, blanking on me right now, had said that he had broken, I think, his arm during training camp, but Sean Payton still wanted him to go out there, and when he wouldn't go out there, he cut that player, and it was a former defensive back that was on the team. So, I can get where the contention between Michael Thomas and the Saints is coming from, but at the same time, this is a team that is in rebuild mode and in decline. David Onyemata, one of their top defensive tackles, suspended to start the season because of substance abuse policy. One of their number 2 cornerbacks, and Patrick Robinson, former Eagle, by the way, retired right in the middle of training camp because he knows something's not going on in that city. Not to mention, the franchise QB god that city had in Drew Brees is gone. Jameis Winston is saying that Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray are a great condom of running back instead of the tandem that it should be. And there is no other wide receiver help outside of Michael Thomas.
He went there.
Like, the defense is still legit, even though they did lose a really key piece to Cincinnati. The name Trey Hendrickson, the defensive tackle Trey Hendrickson. They lost him in the offseason. Cam Jordan getting older. And what does anyone know is going on with Marshawn Lattimore up in Cleveland? We still haven't heard back on what happened up there that got him in trouble with police in the first place. So this Saints team is a team in regression and a team in conversion into a new era, the post-Drew Brees era. With that being said, I'll just give it early. I think the Saints are 4th in the NFC South this year.
Wow. Start hot takes early, huh?
You made a ton of valid points. I'm not sure if I'll give him last, only because I believe in Jameis Winston. I believe that, again, from a skill set standpoint, Jameis is not going to be somebody that throws for 2,800 yards, 3,000 yards, only 20 touchdowns. Jameis is going to put numbers up.
I'm not saying that Jameis is a terrible player. I'm just saying he's been bubbling his words with the media the whole time he's been there. He's turned himself in kind of to like a lovable person, despite all the controversy.
Of course. Of course, but my thing is he's going to put the points on the board. Jameis is we saw 30 touchdowns, obviously the 30 interceptions. If he can bring those down, he's going to have his team in games. That's, to me, that is without question. I think people forget the year before Tom Brady got there, Jameis had that team on the rise, right? Because of the 5,000 yards, the 30 touchdowns. I think they won 8 or 9 games and just barely missed the playoffs. Different things like that. So I'm not going to. And then they still have pieces and foundational pieces, like you said, Cam Jordan, on that defensive side of the ball. If Marshawn is able to play, Marshawn Lattimore, different things like that. So I don't think that I could see them finishing second in the division. I would love for them to finish 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 4th. But I wouldn't be surprised either if they finish second, just off of the strength that you still do have Alvin Kamara, you still have Latavius Murray, you still have Jameis Winston, who's, like I say, he's going to put points on the board. And defensively, the drop-off hasn't been extremely horrible. Okay, they won 7 games. Again, trending upward with that a defense who obviously was getting better, different things like that. And so I think with and like I said, and then you look what Tom Brady did, they just excelled, right? Because Tom Brady's Tom Brady. But you saw the progression. They were on the move. The Bucs were already on the rise. Tom Brady made a phenomenal decision. But anyway, I think that the Saints, again, ceiling, second in the division. Obviously, the floor is last.
And just to answer what the question was about in the first place, in my thoughts, if I were to trade Michael Thomas, I would want at least 1 first-round pick for him. I don't think he's worth more than 1, just because that contract is way too big. Not to mention he is a drama, a diva of a wide receiver. And if I were to pick where to send him, Darren, I'm showing my love to you, man. I'm sending him to Baltimore. Out there in Baltimore to give Lamar Jackson a true number 1 option with Rashad Bateman coming in injured and with an unknown amount of time that he'll be out for. But hey, that's
look at Avery.
First of all, to your first point, I'm not giving a first-round pick to Michael Thomas. If DeAndre Hopkins didn't go for a first, and Julio Jones didn't go for a first, I'm not giving up.
There's a difference between Bill O'Brien and Sean Payton.
I agree. However, again, he's coming off of injury. He's about to have surgery, which means 2 of the last 3 years, he's not going to be on the field for the majority of it. Second, again, players around the league have expressed this is the slant guy. He's not an extreme threat. Like, defenders have literally been like, he's cool, but he's not that guy, right?
Yeah, no, he's
like you said,
guy.
I was gonna say, and then you look at the extra stuff that he is, the distraction that he can be, all those different things. And then I do not want him going to the Ravens. The Ravens, to me, are about speed. Michael Thomas is not a speedster. I think that if he was to go to a team, if he was to get traded to a team, I think a pretty good fit would be, and this is just my opinion, the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders would be a great fit for Michael Thomas, but that's just my personal opinion.
Going from stage black to Raiders black. So black and gold to black and silver.
Okay. Well, I got 2 things to say real quick. One is Jameis Winston is just a walking meme. I mean, anything
listen.
I think that's planned. I still think that's kind of planned.
Yeah, I think it is too.
But what happened in Tampa, but
I think they need Shaq and a fool in the NFL. Come on, man, it's cool, but I need Shaq in a full because Shaq would rip every single time you rip Jameis Winston. I would love to see it.
Running
James Winston definitely a walking meme. And if you guys do remember some years ago here on the Air It Out podcast, I mentioned this before because Michael Thomas came into the league very quiet and humble and hungry. And all of a sudden he came in and started being on social media. And I expressed my concern with that. I was just like, man, this guy never was like that before. He was quiet, he did his work, and then as soon as he had a breakout year, he just came out of nowhere and started talking. I'm like, guy, just do what you have to do and play. And all of a sudden now he's just becoming this guy that just go on social media and have cryptic talks and things like that. And I was concerned about it, and I expressed this to you guys before. I don't know if you guys remember me saying this, but that always kind of concerns me especially when somebody that don't present themselves like that at first. Like if he came into the league and was talking, I'm like, all right, well, that's what he does. But like he came out of nowhere and just started talking on social media and talking about, oh, this player's not better than me, I'm better than this person, and this and this and that on social media. And it struck me like, man, this is not something going on right there. It's just weird. And like Avery said with the whole KD thing, it was kind of like the same thing where KD didn't come into the league just, talking like he does on social media now. It just came out of nowhere. So it's just like always concerning with me when I see somebody's personality kind of like take a sharp turn like that. It's weird.
I'll make a quick comparison to that. I kind of share that opinion of another player in the league. And that's Marcus Peters when he was originally with the Chiefs. He didn't come into the league chirping either. He was quiet. He was doing his job. He was a
that's different. No. He honestly, when he was in Washington, he was that guy. He
didn't seem like that in his rookie year. His rookie year,
he got humbled by Andy Reid. He got humbled by Andy Reid.
I was gonna say the thing about it was a couple things. One, the Chiefs market wasn't that big then. They didn't have Patrick Mahomes and they didn't have winning, so you didn't hear about Marcus Peters as much. Two, it was a situation where, to Jerome's point, Andy Reid was kind of trying to still get that culture together and everything like that. And coming in as a rookie, you're like, okay, well, but like Jerome said at Washington, oh, he's a chirper. He's from Oakland. He's always been a talker. Like that's always been a part of his game. So, but he's gonna talk.
Yeah, fair point.
Darian says, Thomas to the Jets. We think
we're going with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis for now.
Speaking of Elijah Moore, man, man, getting high praise from every single receiver in the league right now. He's getting such high praise.
5 names, Sharpie on a mirror every day. That is what drives this man to be great, and it's good. In the words of PJ Tucker, we got dogs in here, man. We got dogs.
Shout out PJ Tucker, Heat Nation. We about to run it back, yo. What's up?
And Elijah Moore definitely is a dog of a wide receiver. From what I've heard in camp, from what I've seen in videos, this man is something special. This kid is going to turn to something special. He suffered a quad injury this week, though, so let's hope he recovers it pretty well. But remember, Odell suffered a quad injury his rookie year too. Came back to week 4, week 5. Still had a great rookie season. So I'm not really.
Speaking of Odell, he predicted All Pro in his rookie season.
Let's hold off the expectations right now. I don't want to get too much.
He's like, slow it down. Hold on, slow it down.
I don't want to get into too much Jet talk right now. This isn't the Jets podcast. This is the Air It Out podcast. But I will say I'm really hoping that Zach Wilson has at least a good year, like a 22-10 touchdown interception ratio. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, thank God it's not just podcast. We'll lose some views anyway. I had to get that. I had to hear that jump in. I had to. Let's get to our next topic. And as you guys already know, we talked about this earlier. It is preseason week 1 and game 1 of most people, except for the Steelers and the Cowboys. They had their Hall of Fame game last week. But I want to know what you guys think. Like, what is the most exciting game coming up for you guys? Like, most anticipated game coming up this weekend. I'm gonna start with you, Juan.
In preseason,
Hey man, hey, it's football. This is our first taste of football. You gotta be excited about something. Something gotta.
I mean, I'm never one to say I'm not excited about anything, but I will say if I was looking forward to a game purely for like rookie premieres, honestly, I would have to go with the first Saturday game of the weekend. It is Miami visiting Chicago, and for two reasons only. One, Tua Tagovailoa in a new offense. Let's see if he looks a lot better than he did last year. And two, my man, the one I wanted the Jets to draft, but then they just went with Mormon Mahomes. Justin Fields coming out here, man. Getting to see this man, the man that I wanted, the man I thought was better than even Trevor Lawrence when we were talking draft stuff. To premiere, and I'm just looking forward to seeing Justin Fields. From all the reports I've been hearing, he's been an absolute stellar player, at a model of a QB, and I I want to see Justin come out here, play against a true NFL defense, because the Miami defense is no joke. They got some studs over there. Xavier Howard with the restructuring of his contract, so he's going up against a true dynamic corner, as well as Byron Jones on the other side. And I just want to see Justin sling it. I want to see that arm talent. I want to see good decision making, and I want to see him do what Russell Wilson does for the Seahawks every week, which is elevate that offensive line, which is putrid.
All right.
All right.
Not mad at it.
What about you, Avery?
Well, I got a whole slate of games here, man. It's some good stuff. I'll start with I'm looking forward to seeing actually a game that's going to be on tonight, the Washington football team and the Patriots. I'm curious to see what the Patriots offense is going to look like, and I'm curious to see what the Washington football team is going to do at quarterback. So, I mean, obviously they got Fitzmagic there now, but there's no guarantee he's going to be a starter. And if not, I'd like to see, what those potential starters are going to do. Like, what are they going to look like? How are they going to go? Obviously, I'm going to be a homer. I want to see the Falcons. I want to see Kyle Pitts and see what he can do if he does play in this first one. Want to see if our defense can stop anybody. Want to see if we can establish a running game. And Julio is going to be in Atlanta for his first game since being traded. I want to see how that reception is going to be. I don't think he's going to play. Obviously, he's been out all week with an undisclosed injury. So I don't think he's going to play in this game just as precaution. But him walking into the stadium, I'm kind of curious as to see what's going on there. But I'm going to agree with Juan as far as game of the week. I'm going to say Dolphins and Bears, man, for exactly the same reasons, and mainly, again, Justin Fields. What's going to happen? How is he going to play? I love that the Bears quarterbacks all have visors. That's super dope to me. It looks kind of strange when Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, but it tells me at least that Justin Fields, because I don't believe either of them were the catalyst for that. I believe that Justin Fields might have been.
Nick Foles did it a couple times before.
Okay, well, when I say catalyst, I mean as in catalyst to get everybody on board, which tells me he's having an impact. He's having influence on the team. From all reports out of camp, he's playing phenomenal football. Some of the highlights that I've seen, some of the throws that I've seen, he's throwing from different angles. He's throwing on the run. He's staying in the pocket. He's playing pretty good football, so that's going to be really, really interesting to see. And then last but not least, just a little sprinkle of I might like to see this as the Texans and Packers. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with the Deshaun Watson situation, so I'm curious to see what the quarterback situation is going to look like in the event that he's not going to be able to be there. So that's just going to be something that I'm kind of looking forward to.
I have one more game I forgot to mention, and it's actually one of tonight's games. It's the Steelers going up against the Eagles. Main reason why I want to there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, I want to get a closer look at Najee Harris. What is he deserving to be the number one running back off the board in this year's draft, or was it Travis Etienne? You get to find out actually behind a number, especially against a new Steelers offensive line who haven't played together at all last year because last year was just full of injuries and full of rotations, and 4/5 of the 2020 offensive line is gone. So this is an entirely new line with new chemistry that has to come together. Not to mention the backup quarterback battle that's happening in Pittsburgh between Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, and Josh Dobbs, excuse me. And whoever walks away with that job might possibly be the successor for Ben Roethlisberger. Maybe. Not hedging my bets on either. And then on the side of the Eagles, it's trying to see, the new number one quarterback, Jalen Hurts, to see if he is worthy of being number one or if the Eagles should actually take the Deshaun Watson trade rumors seriously. So we'll see, what the debate is on there. And a shout out to one of our own guys, playing with the Eagles tonight, Mr. Teron Jackson, a former Chanticleer, playing tonight for the Eagles with his NFL debut. Wishing him nothing but the best in his first NFL action.
And Juan stole it right out of my mouth because that's the exact reason I was going to say tonight's matchup with the Eagles and Steelers. Teron Jackson is one of the guys that I want to see him. When you look at the preseason, the two things that I always want to see is the rookies and the second-year guys. I want to see how both of them come in, some performance, some of the guys that came in last year, how they looking better this year. I am looking forward to seeing how Jalen Reagor bounced back from last year. He had a kind of year. I want to see how he bounced back. I heard he's been playing very well after his very slow start to training camp, so I want to see how he does. Also, the Washington game as well. We got a couple of guys from that game as well. Jamian Davis and a guy that inside the hatch has been really looking into is Jared Patterson. He came in as an undrafted running back. This guy been breaking records. I really want to see how he does coming into the NFL now, and if he can carry that over, because the man, I believe he should have been drafted. He wasn't drafted. He went to the Washington team. And I want to see how he does in game situation now and see if he can play just as good.
He's running a really underrated backfield.
Really, they really do.
Antonio Gibson, especially leading the front. I think Patterson can carve out a pretty good special teams gadget player role down there because he's just so versatile as a player.
Correct.
Antonio Gibson is going to have a really good year this year. Like, he's one of my favorite players to watch. I have high expectations that now that he's got a little taste of it, he's going to put Memphis on the map and show that they've got talent down there as well. And the last game, I forgot to mention this, but the Chargers-Rams, I'm curious to see if Matthew Stafford plays. I'm not sure if he's been ruled out or not, but if he hasn't, I'm curious to see how he looks with his new team and what's going to go on there. Obviously, Justin Herbert coming in year 2, and to Jerome's point, second-year players. Like, is he going to take a leap like Patrick Mahomes, or is he going to, have a Josh Allen type deal where he, stays middle of the pack and then it's year 3 where he elevates? So kind of curious to see how that's going to be as well.
Just a quick heads up: Matthew Stafford will not be playing in any preseason games.
Darn.
And one other game that I definitely want to watch this weekend rather, is the San Francisco and Chiefs game. I cannot wait to watch Trey Lance play. I mean, I've been hearing some great things out of him. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I really wanted to see how he does, and I'm hearing this guy can sling it. He can sling it. So that's another guy that I have my eye on for this preseason and see how he does this preseason, because there's a chance. It's a chance that he might start week 1. You never know. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that competition. Apparently, Jimmy G's playing really well as well, but this kid is impressing the 49ers organization right now. And I've seen some clips of some of the throws he's making. This guy is making some Aaron Rodgers-like throws. I was like, whoo, okay, let's Let's see it. Let's do it.
We're all excited to see all the rookie quarterbacks play. Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields.
Yes, Mac Jones, because I'm hearing that he's putting the pressure on Cam for that starting job. So yes, I want to see that too.
Yes, Mac Jones. You know who we haven't mentioned yet, and the reason why is because he just already know he's going to be a starter. Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor, we don't talk about Trevor Lawrence much because we already know how great Trevor Lawrence is. I will say though, his backup quarterback in Gardner Minshew, very underrated quarterback.
Urban hasn't stated who's the starter. He's actually non-committed. Obviously, we probably all can assume that it'll be Trevor.
I'm not gonna lie. I do not like how Urban Meyer runs an NFL program. The fact that the guy has a freaking winners and losers list every day, and he reminds his players of it. Like he's a freaking college coach. We've all seen what happens when a college coach tries to enter an NFL environment. Philly fans know that, especially when Chip Kelly showed up.
Man, you should have known that when I know. You should have known that when he had Travis Etienne line up at wide receiver like his first practice. Like what?
Hey, make all the faces you want. You know it's true.
All right, let's get to our last one. This is especially for Juan. The Hot Take Thursday. Hot Take Thursday. Now, we're back with it. So I'm gonna let Juan start it off because he seemed like he had something hot and spicy to talk about. So let me let you do that first, sir.
So we all know I'm out here, Packers training camp. We've been covering, we've been watching the Aaron Rodgers saga going down. He's back at camp. He's fully committed. He's been extremely outspoken. If you saw his first press conference back, wow. And this is basically the last dance for Aaron Rodgers, possibly in Green Bay. We've heard kindlings and people talking, saying that this is likely his last time here. Same thing with Davante Adams because he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league. And we all know, despite what's been happening in recent years, the Green Bay Packers don't necessarily like giving out big contracts. So with that being said, I am calling that the Green Bay Packers off the determination of Aaron Rodgers and just the fact that everyone wants this to be over for fresh new beginnings the year after, will make the Super Bowl this year. I'm calling the Green Bay Packers to making the Super Bowl this year. They will lose the Super Bowl. They will lose it, but they will make it. I am calling that out right now. I predict that Aaron Rodgers will have 4,200 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Davante Adams will lead the league again in receiving touchdowns because he will be the premier target of Aaron Rodgers, and that defense is going to finish top 5.
Well, we're going to have to put you in a witness protection program over there, man, talking about they're going to lose the Super Bowl. That's title time. How dare you?
I mean, because I have the Chiefs coming back and winning it all.
Avery, you got a hot take for us this Thursday?
Sure, and I'll give my Super Bowl picks. My Super Bowl picks, I'm actually going to agree with Juan. I think the Packers make it to the Super Bowl this year. I think that they bringing Aaron Rodgers back, as long as they stay healthy, I think that they're in position, right? Obviously, the teams that are bucking up against that are the Buccaneers. We can't even say the Saints anymore because there's so many question marks there. Maybe Seattle, maybe 49ers, if they can get good QB play and their defensive secondary can be well without Richard Sherman. So we'll see. But I'm gonna pick the Packers there. In the NFC, I'm actually gonna go with the Browns. I think the Browns get over the hump this year. If not the Browns, the Bills, but I think the Browns are gonna do it, man. I think they're built for success. They've got a decent offensive line, phenomenal running game. They've got weapons on the outside. Baker likes to sling it around. Their defense is playing better. You bring in Myles Garrett, who won't be suspended this time. Jadeveon Clowney. You got one of the better cornerbacks in Denzel Ward. I think the Browns are in prime position right now to win. So I think they'll get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl. Not going to pick a winner. But my hot take is Peyton Manning's touchdown record will be broken this year. I'm not sure which quarterback will do it, but I believe that there will be a new crown holder for the amount of touchdowns thrown in a single season.
I will say for my Chiefs pick, it's all hinged on the fact of whether or not Frank Clark is not going to get prosecuted for the 2 gun incidents that he had in his Lamborghini. But I will say this: with your hot take on like the touchdown record, impressive. I'm all about it. I'd love to see it happen, but to really conceive about who would break it, I can only think of 3 people to do that: Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and dark horse candidate Justin Herbert.
Yes, I was hoping you said that.
Not 50. You got to think 56 touchdowns in year 2. I don't think I could see that.
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, great running back rotation with Austin Eckler, and no more tight end there because Hunter Henry.
If you're gonna say 3, I'm gonna agree with Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna agree with Patrick Mahomes. But I would throw in Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Beasley. I think that they probably be more primed to, or he will probably be more primed to break that touchdown record, especially knowing that he can run the football as well. So it might make teams key in on him running, which will open up lanes for him passing. So I think there's a possibility there for him to do it.
Thank you, Avery, for allowing me to think of my hot take Thursday, because I was actually thinking about this before, and now I'm going to actually say it in public. My hot take Thursday is Gabriel Davis of the Bills will have more touchdowns than Diggs this year. Diggs is going to get all the yards, but Gabriel Davis came on as a rookie last year, and he was looking fire. He's going to have more touchdowns than Diggs this year.
I'm not mad at that. I'll throw in a dark horse to break the touchdown record as well. Kyler Murray. Ton of weapons.
All aging, though. Also,
Kyler Murray runs a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
To have a
just saying. The reason I say that because he's a gunslinger. The dude just likes to throw the ball.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong.
Around, so
I think he can always get like high 20s in the 30s, but 50 for a guy that likes to run a lot.
I'll give you one more hot take, just because like I just want to see someone burn here. I don't think that the Chiefs will repeat as AFC West division champions. I think that crown is going to the Chargers this year. I think the Chargers are going to make a run for that division title, and they're going to get away from Mahomes because, let's face it, yes, I did say the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, but remember, Tampa didn't win the division. They went through their gauntlet and won it all, so why can't the Chiefs? But I say that the Chargers will take the crown because they have the better defense, they have the better pass rush, they have the better protection, and they might not have the better weapons, but they have good enough that they can keep on pace with that Chiefs high-octane offense.
Yeah, and I've been if you've been watching us the last how many episodes, since the draft, I've been saying the Chargers are a sleeper team for me. I think they're a team that people need to keep an eye on because the one big thing last year is that there was the third most sacked team last year, and their rookie quarterback played amazing. Now they re-up that offensive line the way they did too. I just think that they're just going to be so much better of a team now because of that. And they got Darwin James coming back, and he's looking amazing already in training camp. Can't wait to see how that team plays out after this.
I think we can all agree here in this chat, no matter what kind of fanhood you are, no matter what team you cheer for, the Dallas Cowboys suck.
Yes.
Hard knocks is not enough to win my favor, Jerry Jones.
I don't agree with that, man. I'm not a Cowboy hater. I'm not a Cowboy lover. I can take him or leave him, but I'm not going to disrespect him. Dak is my guy as well, so I'm not doing that.
Dak is the only reason I barely can tolerate the Cowboys as it is. If it wasn't for Dak Prescott, I wouldn't be even watching Hard Knocks this year.
They also got my boy Kiki, so you know I can't be mad. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, fair point.
But anyway, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Thank y'all for checking us out again for each week. Thank you, Juan, for coming on with us from being absent for a while, man. We always appreciate you having you on this podcast as well. Guys, make sure you go follow us on all our social media, including InsideTheHashes.com, where you can find all our content. But you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can find all our great content on there as well as following us on our platform where we have our podcast. We have a lot of player interviews on there, a lot of players that we talked about today, a lot of players that are going to be playing tonight are on there where you can listen to their interviews on there. So check that out, InsideTheHashes.com, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify or Anchor. You can find that all on there. Search Inside the Hashes, as well as if you are watching right now, you're probably watching on YouTube. So go on there, subscribe, like, and hit that notification button so you know when we're live, so you can have your live comments on here if you want to watch us. And if you can't watch us live, that's fine as well. But the Justin Herbert interview. I love it.
he's mad tall.
He is. But guys, if you make sure that you like and subscribe on there. And if you can't watch us live, that's okay. Put a comment under our in the comment section, and we will answer it back. And anything that you want to say, we'll make sure we get that on there as well. So, guys, thank y'all so much for checking us out. I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones. We got Avery Collins right here. We got the legend down there, Mr. Juan Camargo, right down there.
One time bomb.
The one-time bomb.
You made me want some wontons right now.
True. Guys, thank y'all so much for checking us out. We always enjoy doing this each week. Make sure you check us out each week on Thursdays. I hope y'all enjoy y'all preseason games. We will make sure that we enjoy them as well. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Football is back.